All right, everybody, welcome to Rogues Gallery Live. This is episode 9, and I am Chris the Batman Statue Collector, and I am so excited to be here tonight. I cannot believe we have an incredible show and an incredible guest, and I still cannot believe she is on the show. I am so incredibly excited, and I just cannot so excited. So anyway, let's go ahead and introduce our panel like we always do. And with us tonight is the Dark Lord himself, Mr. Thor Gunderson is in the house.
Well, I appreciate that, Batman Statue Collecting. As always, we are honored. We can enjoy it.
Thank you, sir. We also have the Paradox Nerd, PJ's here.
Oh, hi. Hey. Sorry, I don't have an intro, but hey, what's up, guys? I was gonna do each, but I was like, I want to be
each boy.
Yeah, I'll do that another time, guys.
We also have from the Odd Couple Statue Reviews, we have Jason Bond.
Hey guys, pleasure to be here. Awesome to be here with Susan and the rest of you.
Jason, I would like to thank you for having the shirt on tonight, sir.
Thank you very much, mate. Shirts are reserved for special guests.
So I get the shirt. That's my specialty.
Yeah,
Believe me, it's a privilege.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
We also have from Mac Collections, Mr. Mac Main.
Hello, everybody. Susan, Batman, hot chat.
Very
We
simple.
also have Mr. Lawrence Old Jr. in the house.
Uh-oh.
Maybe he's silent.
Lawrence, your mic. There you go.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on again, Chris, and welcome, Susan. Appreciate having you on the show.
Of course.
Then we also have Mr. Jeff Morris in the house.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, Susan. We're not worthy.
Oh, my God.
We also have the child of the Atom himself, Mr. A. Tim is here.
You saved the best for last. Hey, everybody.
There's
How
one
you guys
more.
doing? Oh, man.
One more.
And here comes
One more.
Damn it. You did save the best for last.
That's right. Well, we also have, of course, Mr. Centauri Stir Fry is here with us.
Spoon.
Yo.
Do you have the oven mitt with you, sir?
Yeah, I requested the oven mitt.
Oh, yeah. You gotcha. Right here.
Yeah.
Here, I'll just scratch my chin when you guys say something really interesting. I like that.
Centauri, I've got to ask. So if you overcook the meat, do you just snap your fingers and make it good?
Oh, no, this is defective. It doesn't work at all. In fact, I was hurt once, and I think a lot of people were hurt, so they recalled it. So it's only good for reviews. Yeah. Infinite power, but you can't even bake cookies. Sad. It's right here.
That's awesome. Well, she really does not need any introduction, but she has been kind enough to come on the Rogues Gallery. She, of course, is Sideshow Susan. Susan Strange is with us. Let's welcome her.
Welcome.
Hey, everyone. It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun. I already love it.
Well, that's awesome. We are so excited. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do 20 questions with Susan. So we've kind of divvied up all the questions, and we're going to ask her some questions about herself. And then also my man Jeff here and Lawrence, they are going to be writing down your questions that you have for Susan. Now, let me tell you this. This show is all about Susan. It is not necessarily about Sideshow. So but I know that there's going to be a lot of questions in the chat that probably Susan cannot answer. So what I'm asking for you to do is please, the questions you ask, please let it be about Susan. Okay? I think that'll help the gentleman watch for those questions, because
the questions that I mostly get asked that I can't answer are like, when's this coming out? Or like, are you ever going to do this? And the answer is probably, and I don't know. So really, if you want to get more interesting answers than that for me, ask something that I can actually answer. So there you go.
All right. And so if you can't, you say I can't, right? That's right.
Yeah. And if I can't answer it, I'm very honest and open. So I will just say, I don't know, or that's above my pay grade, or that's an entirely different department. So I'll just tell you guys straight up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, well, let's get to the 20 questions. I have the first one, and this is it. Okay, so tell us about your love for geek culture and how it ended up inspiring you to work for Sideshow Collectibles.
Okay. I like making like saying that I have been training for my job since I was 8. Because when I was 8 years old, there was an influx of amazing cartoons that were like geek cartoons. So earlier today, I actually got to like interview the writers and creators of X-Men, the animated series, and the other one was Batman, the animated series. It turns out, by the way, Larry, who was on the show, actually worked on both. So like,
Well, that's
are
awesome.
you kidding me, Larry? Apparently you shaped my childhood and I never knew it. But yeah, that inspired me to like pick up comics. The first comics I ever read were Batman Legends of the Dark Knight, which in hindsight aren't great, but you know, they're fun Batman stories that are really short stories. So like the Prey series is like 3 issues. The Werewolf series is like 2 issues. So like they're very digestible for like an 8-year-old. And then the 1989 Batman movie. I wanted to be Catwoman after 1992, and Selena Kyle was introduced. So that shaped me very, very young. But before that even was Star Wars. Like Star Wars is like my jam from the beginning. The first movie I ever saw was Return of the Jedi, because I was a kid and my parents thought that it would be safe because there was like a planet of teddy bears. They can say whatever they want about Ewoks, but without Ewoks, I wouldn't be a Star Wars fan, or I wouldn't have been allowed to watch them. So that, and then once I got older, I was still collecting comics. I even collected them up through college. And when I moved out to LA, one of my jobs that I did was I worked at a comic book store in Burbank. So it all kind of evolved from there. It was just steps and steps and steps. And I collected Sideshow before I ever worked for Sideshow. I got the Adam Hughes Rogue where she's taking off the glove.
Oh my God, great piece.
Yeah, that's I in general, I'm a big Adam Hughes fan. Like my very first collectible that I can really remember was like a Catwoman by him. So that early 2000s Catwoman that he did. So yeah, and then with Sideshow, I saw a job listing on LinkedIn and applied, and here I am. It was amazing. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm gonna. So when you go through the interview process, one of the things you do is a sample project based on your job. And the character I was given to do a sample project on was Harley Quinn. And so once I was given Harley Quinn, I knew I had the job. Like, cause you know, she was created for Batman the Animated Series, which was like, I'd known about, like I'd watched Batman the Animated Series since I was 8 years old. I knew her entire history. I'd read every single, like Mad Love. I still own the trade of Mad Love from way back in the day. Like I knew I had the job once it was Harley who was assigned to me. So yeah, that's why I'm sitting here.
That's so awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great segue into my questions. And so what did you think it would be like working for Sideshow Collectibles? How has what you thought been different from your experience? And tell us a little bit about your job as a brand coordinator. What does that mean?
Okay. Brand coordinator is one of the ways. So I work in outgoing voice, essentially. What it means to me is that I get to do things like podcasts and live streams and conventions and kind of talk about the company to people who, one, might not know about Sideshow, just see really cool statues and want to learn something extra about what we do. And two, it's a lifestyle thing as well. So it's a lot of, you know, maintaining my pull list so that way I can talk about comics on my podcast. So there's that element. And then a little bit of it is also like, is the PR element of it, where it's a lot of, you know, the technical answering emails and things like that. So I dabble in a little bit of random stuff at Sideshow, but mostly it comes down to outgoing voice. Like, what do we want the tone of our live show to be? What do we want what do we want people to talk about at a convention? So it's stuff like that. So what was the other part was what did I what?
What did you think it would be look like? What did you think it would be like working for Sideshow, and how has your experience differed from what you thought?
It's the only okay. So what it's like? What did I think it would be like? I thought I don't know that I had an expectation going into working for Sideshow. I think that I was just very much, oh my God, I got this job and now I get to work for Sideshow. What is life? And it's better than I could have possibly imagined. It's getting to come into work every day and say, what's new? What do I get to talk about today? What are we filming today? What are we unboxing today? Like all of that is brand new, even when it's not. Like when I got to put together that Thor Breaker of Brimstone premium format figure that just started shipping, I was like enthralled with this piece. And it debuted at Comic-Con last year. So in theory, I've seen it before several times, but the fact that I can still be like have renewed excitement because now it's here and it's a thing, and like I get to put it together, and then you guys get to have it in your collection. You get to put it together. Like it's feeling like a kid every day. That's exactly what it is. And I don't know that I expected anything different. I guess I expected maybe more, maybe for it to feel more like a job. It's definitely a job. There's a lot of work that goes into everything that we do, but it's beautiful and it's fun, and no one exists on their own. Everything is just such a community. And when I work, I don't work by myself. I have a whole team of people that work with me, and working with them every day is just the most amazing treat. I don't know. I can't gush about it enough, and it's just kind of a dream come true.
It's super cool. Love what you do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
That's
jealous
really
right now.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous right now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm like,
I don't
wow.
hate my job, but I don't love it. And I'm like, I love my job. And even when I have a day of just admin work, it's still like, admin work at Sideshow.
Yeah.
When you see anybody from Sideshow, all of the cast of characters, they all seem so happy and so just they just love what they're doing, and they believe in what you are doing. So that's just priceless.
Totally.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
That's really something to treasure and hang on to.
It makes hitting that pre-order button so much nicer when you guys are all happy and joyful when you spend all that money.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
It's my favorite part.
Oh yeah, when you I remember that.
That's really cool.
And now we see your face, I think, instead of Dave Igo's when you do order an item, right?
You see several faces. There's a lot of people in that little thank you video.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it changed the last time I ordered something. It wasn't the same video as usual. It looked like it had changed.
Yeah, I think they just updated it, I think.
Yeah, they updated that, and they updated the Alderon places to "You didn't survive the snap."
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Brutal.
awesome.
I know. Too soon.
That's right. All right, Jeff, you're up.
So, Susan, you've often described working at Sideshow, working as being part of the family. Can you tell us what it's like working with all these amazingly super talented people?
Yes, it is like a family. In the like, everyone's working towards something bigger in the same way that a family unit is kind of all come together. There's a lot of just really unique people who work here. No two people are exactly the same. Everyone's fandoms are different, and even when we talk about characters like Spider-Man, people know different parts of Spider-Man's history. So it's spectacular that way. So I feel like you don't get the full picture of Sideshow until you see all of the collective siblings come together.
Yeah.
It's so fantastic. You can walk into any room and feel like the camaraderie, because like I said, most of us work in teams. We're not in isolation at all. So we have like in different parts of the building, there's like the marketing team, but then there's the sculpt team, and there's like the graphic arts department. And when you walk through these different parts of the building, it's just such a collaboration, and you can really see like them gathering around a table to figure out the best way to approach any project. And yeah, that project might get assigned to an individual, but it ultimately gets brought past like art direction and cut and sew and sculpt and key artistry. Like there's so many different elements that you kind of have to figure out the best ways to work with people. And it's just it is very much like siblings, even in the sense of like small bickerings that happen when they happen. They're just like little, no one gets mad at each other. And I've never been in like an office environment where I can honestly say like, there's no one here that I dislike. There's no one here that I'm like, oh, I really don't want to have to work with that person. Everyone, I'm just like, yeah, I'll go talk to that person. Yeah, of course I'll go ask that question. Like, it's just a really amazing collaborative environment where all these different creative types, because even when you talk about customer support, those people know everything about the statues, everything about the figures. And they work in such a like loving way. Their knowledge astounds me, and their compassion for everyone and the way they connect with the collectors just, I can't say enough things about them.
Really, it has to be really incredible to feel like that, because then everybody feels like they had a big part in what's being done.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't feel like, well, this, we all helped get it there, and it's this one person did 80% of it and the rest of us just did this, but everybody feels equally as important.
Right. And then when
that's really good.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference in a workplace.
Oh, absolutely. And when a project gets passed on to a different team, there's still collaboration between the person who had it before to the person who has it now. So it's just a lot of really good communication and conversations.
And I would imagine that it continues to inspire every day, like, being around all that talent. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. I just want to take a minute. We have over 102 people in the chat. That is our largest we've ever had on the show. So thank you, Susan, for that. And please give this video a thumbs up for Susan. Let her know how much you appreciate her being here.
So far, Chris.
Say that again.
There's only been one jealous person so far with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, every video we all get, there's always two people that give thumbs down. Yep.
Just like one angry guy. It's like, it's like that's the mission. Like,
well, we always say every thumbs down is still a hit for the page, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's
everybody hit the like button.
I think it's funny because, like, if you understand social media at all, interaction's important. So even if they're giving you a thumbs down, they're still interacting with your video. So really the only way to, like, hate on anything for real is to not pay attention to it.
To ignore it, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. That's the truth.
That's right. Let's see. Stir Fry, I think you're up next with the next question.
Okay, Susan, it's really nice to meet you. It's awesome. It's cool that you're, so connected to the comics and you have a history and you worked at a comic store. Maybe I heard that before, but I missed it. So that's really awesome to see that. I hear that anyway. So maybe early before this video started, you might have talked about some of the pieces you owned or whatever, but what is your favorite that you own for everyone else? And if you have a favorite that you appreciate that you don't own, maybe you want it, and maybe you can answer both those questions. But before you answer, I would like to mention that the Stormtroopers really should have slaughtered those little teddy bears on all of them. They should have all died. Come on,
wait. You talk about the well, can I give you guys a little fact about the teddy bears? In Return of the Jedi, they are actually speaking my language. I'm Filipino, so they're actually speaking.
That's right, I knew that.
Yeah, they were talking like Tagalog. Because when I was a kid, I was like, why could I understand the Ewoks? Am I like an
Ewok? Know that. That's awesome.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm an Ewok.
We also, one of my coworkers is a member of the 501st, and his armor is the Scout Trooper specifically. And so it's super funny because he'll come into the office. My office mate he calls himself Team Space Bear, and he has like a ton of Ewok stuff on his desk. So our 501st member will come in and like sit on the Ewok and just be like, what? And then he'll be like Team Scout Trooper and like leave. This is what I mean. Like we all get along, even when it's like that. It's stuff like, yeah, what up? You're murder. What up, murder bear? You're gone. So yeah, my favorite piece that I own is my X-23 comic cut, and that's a very personal character to me. I love X-23. My father was a Wolverine fan, and he always told me when I was a kid that he had healing factor because he could heal really quickly. So don't worry about it. When he got injured, he was fine. He was Wolverine. He could heal really quickly. So when Nyx 3 came out and there was the introduction of the daughter of Wolverine, the child made from his DNA, who now in canon is his actual daughter. He instantly was like, well, she's you. Because if I'm Wolverine, then she's you. My dad passed away a few years ago. And now the X-23 has become that much more important to me to have in my collection, because if he's Wolverine, she's me. And yeah, so obviously I have the new X-23 premium format on pre-order, and I can't wait to own her as well. And like Halloween's a big thing at Sideshow, and actually Tim, the head of our cut and sew department, as like a really amazing gift to me, made me the X-23 costume from the premium format figure. And so I got to wear that for Halloween this year.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And then the other part of your question was something that I admire and that I really want to own.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the thing that I admire the most, I don't want to own it because I actually find it terrifying, is the Joker life-size bust.
Oh, yeah.
The artistry behind that thing, the fabrication on it, the teeth. It freaks me out so much. But I think about how beautiful that piece is, and I can't help but appreciate the wonder that it's created. And I know so many collectors love that piece. I just think it's terrifying, which is the point of the piece. But yeah, that's my answer.
Are you talking about this one right here?
That's awesome.
Yeah, the one like right behind. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. And
Yeah,
like,
bring it up close and personal.
No, he's not going to bring it to the
Yeah,
screen.
buddy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's freaky.
nightmares. It's so good.
It's so awesome.
Oh, man.
That's such an awesome piece.
Like, no, that's something that would keep me up at night, but I love it. It's beautiful.
That thing's crazy big.
That's why it's upstairs and not near my kids.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense. I would have been terrified of that as a child.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Because like my Joker growing up was like Mark Hamill and Jack Nicholson, so they weren't that type of scary. They were just like creepy clowns.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about question number 5 from A-Tim?
That is a great segue to this question. So I think anybody who knows you, and I think all of us know you pretty well, Susan. So we all know who your favorite Marvel character is, but we'll let you answer it anyway, for sure, for those who don't know. But maybe you can.
Marvel characters?
I think I know.
Okay.
Don't
Who is my favorite Marvel character?
Isn't it Doctor
I'm making
Strange?
you nervous on purpose.
Isn't it Doctor Strange?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe.
I second guess yourself for a second, didn't I?
Yeah, because I mean, you just told that beautiful X-23 story, and that was like, I mean, that really touched me.
That's got it.
Yeah, that was a wonderful story. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so favorite DC character, favorite Marvel character, but maybe go a step further and go favorite X-Men, maybe favorite.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so maybe chop it up a little bit.
Chop it up a little bit. So favorite Marvel character is Doctor Strange. He is my comic book husband and has been for years. Favorite X-Men, I mean, currently it's Laura Kinney, obviously, but if you want to talk, like in the 90s when I was watching the cartoon, it was Rogue. I was like all about Rogue because I also had a crush on Gambit. Didn't like at my age. And anyway, favorite DC character is Catwoman, which most people think it's Huntress because I talk about Huntress a lot. I love Huntress, but the character that I own the most pieces of is Catwoman. Again, this is like a nostalgia childhood thing where Catwoman was, Bruce Wayne's girl in the animated series and in Batman Returns. So Catwoman would be my favorite DC character. Favorite member of the Justice League, I'll go with, that's actually tough a little bit because I love Black Canary and Green Arrow a lot, but sometimes I just I go like deep cut and I want to do like Martian Manhunter. I I love Sarnik Natu, and if you guys know who she is, like she's
Sinestro's daughter.
What?
Sinestro's daughter.
Yeah, Sinestro's daughter. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is amazing. She's a Green Lantern, so she actually like got the. I mean, Sinestro. His origin was that he was a Green Lantern as well, but she also has like that will in her. She's an incredibly strong woman in the Green Lantern universe. Really cool character, in spite of her taste in men with Kyle Rayner. So whatever.
He's an artist. No, sorry, never mind.
I heard someone say something and I was like, I'm talking over everybody. Favorite Avenger, I guess it is Doctor Strange. I also love Scarlet Witch. I have my like top 5 Marvel ladies that I always talk about. They're my girl squad, and that's Scarlet Witch, Domino, Silk, X-23, and Elektra. So
nice.
Those are
So
all.
do you like them equally as much as in the comics as the movies?
Yes, actually, I do very much like the alteration of Scarlet Witch into the being created from Loki's staff. To me, she's gonna always be Magneto's daughter, but I like Elizabeth Olsen's portrayal of her. I really like the way they paired her and Vision together, because obviously I love Vision as well. I loved the Scarlet Witch and Vision miniseries that happened. What was that, like early 80s? It's like a 6-issue series. Really recommend it if you want to deep dive into their characters and their relationship. But yeah, those are some of my favorite characters. These are a few of my favorite things.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah.
Right.
See, I'm super nervous now. You made me extra nervous.
No, I'm
So
making it.
you must be
I
pumped.
apologize. I didn't mean to make you nervous.
No, it's all right. You must be pumped that Domino's getting made.
I have, okay. They don't tell me a lot of secrets because I'm not a good secret keeper.
We're gonna get an exclusive,
Hey,
guys.
you're way better than Dave Igo.
I'm better than Dave Igo at secrets. That's for sure.
Yeah, he can't keep up.
But that's like, you know, that's not a hot, like, that's a very low bar. I'm going to be honest. I've known about Domino, and I cried the first time I saw her in paint with Kat. Kat was like, what is happening right now? And it was funny because I was giving a tour to a comic book artist and writer, and he was like, oh my God, like, you nerd. And I went, I'm sorry, like, it's Domino. She's one of my favorite characters ever. And they did this like excellent version. And the exclusive where it changes the whole look of the premium format. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It's amazing.
Sweet piece. Yeah, it's a sweet piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think it caters to the modern day fans and the classic fans.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what I love that they did with the Catwoman. I'm assuming you probably are going to be adding that to your collection. I know I'm adding it to mine, but I love that they did the animated series head and then the more class or the more modern head. I love that. That's so awesome.
I love that one too. Yeah, that Catwoman I have on pre-order already.
I figured you did. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we have next? Number 7, Thor. You're up.
Oh, hello again, Susan. This might be a little bit of a tough question. So I know who mine was, but who was your favorite interview of all the interviews you had, like come on the show?
Well, today's was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. Today's was definitely gonna be, it's gonna go in the best of. You know, I thought about this question a lot, because this was one that like stuck in my head. Like, I do not know how to, because every interview is so different.
I figured it'd be tough.
The people like Titus Welliver who come back multiple times, and I get to follow up with them on their collections, and Niambi and Alfonso, who are insanely hilarious. And Niambi has one of the biggest collections I've ever seen. Obviously, they're fantastic because of their knowledge, and you can always go deeper with them in terms of interviewing. But the one that got me in the feels, as they say, was Kevin Conroy. There is no one, everyone in the office couldn't believe that I held it together, because because I'm a crier. Like anytime I'm happy, I cry. If I'm sad, I cry. If I'm angry, like crying is like the way my emotions come out. They come out through my eyes. So, but he left, and I was like in a ball on the floor. Like all the emotions from having talked to him, because he is Batman. He's Batman. I don't like, you forget that you're looking at a person. You're looking at Batman. And however Batman made you feel the first time you were introduced to him, it all comes rushing back. And that's something that I love about working here and working at Sideshow, is that you get to feel that way. And we get to pass that on to you guys, hopefully. Like, I hope that my interview with Kevin Conroy helped someone feel that way at home. You know, I hope that the X-Men interview today made people go, wow, I remember that episode. And that's how I want people to feel. And that's how I felt. And so that's why Kevin Conroy stands out as my favorite of the interviews that I've done.
He's just a genuine, super nice guy too. I mean, you know, I've been at a signing, and he just gives of his time, you know, and just, yeah, he's just.
When Susan Eisenberg and George Newbern came in to do the animated series interview, he couldn't be there, so he like sent in a video to make sure that the Trinity was fully represented. It's like, that's the type of person that he is.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome. I had a chance to meet him too a couple years ago, and he is just an awesome guy. And whenever I first sent these questions, I put in the little blurb. I said, I bet you're going to pick Kevin. And the reason why I said that is because, you know, I try to watch Sideshow live every week if I can for the last couple of years. And I've just never seen you generally that happy. Like, you could just tell how happy you were on that show. And so that, I know that I was feeling that way on my side of the camera on the computer, because it was, and I hadn't met him at that point. So it was really cool to live that through you. That was really cool.
Well, thank you. And Thor, you said you had a favorite. I want to know what your favorite
was. Well, my favorite was Sam Witwerth, you know, the guy who did, for obvious reasons, you know, he did Darth Maul, and he was Star Killer.
Sam is the best of the best. Yeah. I adore Sam so much. I've never met anyone more knowledgeable about Star Wars, and Sam is fantastic. Sam, I adore Sam. That's a great one.
But I know where you're coming from as far as Kevin, because you know, I work at a hotel, and during Obama's first inauguration, I met James Earl Jones. Oh, I'm gonna tell you, that was like, I could have passed away right then and then.
Thank God you didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. No, not obviously not through Sideshow, but well, actually, it was through Sideshow, but not for Sideshow Live. I met Carrie Fisher.
Oh man.
And
wow.
That's awesome.
I just heard everyone. Yeah. Nothing has ever gotten me like meeting her, and I'm so happy I did. So happy I did. And even Todd, like when we went to visit, we went to Todd's office, and we saw the original dress that she wore in Star Wars, like A New Hope. Just
I saw that one, I think. When you guys had the picture, when the print came out, I saw that one. Yeah.
Todd,
that was a great show.
And what a great guy. And he's another one of my favorites. Like, it was very, very hard to answer this question.
Yeah,
I had to go with like the person that made me feel the most like a child, and that was Kevin Conroy.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. That was awesome. I realized I skipped PJ's question number 6.
How dare you, Chris? How dare you?
Deserved. He deserved
it. Everything I skip
giveaways
anyway.
from you, like, come
on. Susan, thanks for coming to the show. It's a pleasure to talk to you as always. My question is how did Sideshow Live first come about, and was it your brainchild?
Okay, it was not my brainchild. I'm gonna just put that, like, nip that right now. We have an amazing team. We have 2 multimedia departments like that deal with various videos on our channels. Like, one of them does mostly marketing, and the other one does mostly like the gorgeous inside looks, the artist profiles, anything that's larger picture type situations. But then we have the marketing team, and they were the ones who put together the idea for Sideshow Live. It was not my brainchild. It was I have very, very amazing bosses, and I don't know how many people get to say that. Like, how many people get to say that, man? Like, I adore.
No, not me.
Yeah, like I love my bosses are the coolest people ever, and they were like, "Hey, Facebook has this live feature. We should use it somehow." And then it was just like, okay, how do we want to use it? Well, we can show off product like live, and we can give people like the first looks at pre-orders. And okay, well, let's do that. And then it just kind of rolled from there. And we tried stuff and it didn't work. And we tried doing what turned out to be Sideshow until years later. We did a chat type thing first because we didn't know what else to do. There were just several iterations of it, but trust me when I said it was not me. I was helping out with social media at the time. I started at Sideshow doing social media. And so they were just like, make this work. And so I just made it work. And now the rest is history. Like now we've like, I can't even, how we did it initially was actually like in a room against a black curtain. Like if you look at the very first Sideshow lives, it's this tiny little room like in a back office that no one was using against a curtain. And then we started construction on the studio, and then we moved into the conference room, and now we have the studio. Like I could not have imagined what has happened with Sideshow Live. It's so fantastic. But yeah, it was several members of the marketing team. It was definitely like a brainchild of a melting pot of fondue of delicious ideas that just became Sideshow Live.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say that the new intro is priceless. I just wanted to say that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, here's your little fun behind the scenes inside look at that. That is one of our video guys behind a camera yelling at me to walk slower. I'm 5'9", and my height is in my legs, so I'm a very fast walker. And that now that you can pay attention to it, it's hey, slower, because we're trying to it was one take, and we're trying to hit all these different cues, people walking by, and I kept messing it up because I was walking too fast.
Another quick question though, real quick, before I guess move. But now you do the live show, and you're such a natural at it. And you do the unboxing and the videos. Which do you prefer? Because do you prefer doing the live show because it's like all organic, so natural, or do you like doing like the scripted, like like I don't know, like you have to, like you said, you have to walk slower to film the shot? Like, what would you rather do?
Oh, I'd rather do all of it.
Okay.
I really love all of it. I say yelling at. I don't really mean it because he wasn't like mad. It was just like slower. You're walking too fast. Can you be a little slower? Slower. So now it's actually playing in the studio. I'll start doing that. I'll be like, oh, slower. Yeah, but no, I enjoy both. They require different types of energy from me. Obviously live, you have to be present and live with the audience that you're trying to talk to. And then with the unboxings, you're very focused on the figure in front of you. So it's right there, and you're focusing on the task at hand, so to speak. So it's a very different type of video. I like that Sideshow has generously allowed me to do both types because it's fun to mix it up, and they're awesome. I still can't believe that they let me do this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
8-Bit Flea in the chat says my 1-year-old dances to the intro every week, so that's pretty cool.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. See, that's why I do the intro, because there's a 1-year-old that dances to it somewhere.
You gotta post that in the Facebook group.
Right.
That's right.
So how many takes does it take when you do an unboxing? Do you do multiple takes, or do they do it one time and you're good?
It depends on the figure. How we do them is that there's a project manager who is just off camera. So if there's something that needs to be shown, because like you guys have all put together figures, let's say, right? You know that sometimes there's like a little bit of a trick that maybe you don't know about, right?
Yep.
Right? The project manager is there to be like, make sure you turn this so that way you key it in while it's facing camera, so that way that tricky thing becomes less tricky because we have the shot of it, and then you guys can see that.
That's very valuable to put together these things.
Yes.
Because I'll like pull one up before I'll put it together and watch a couple times to make sure that I'm not.
I did it. I did it with the silk, the Mark Brooks silk, because I kept hearing about that it was a little bit tricky to get past her fingers on the lamppost. And if I didn't watch how they keyed her in that video, I might have broken my statue.
Yeah, the cape on He-Man was there's still people who still can't figure that thing out. And I had to watch the unboxing thing 15 times.
Yeah,
and slow it down.
Too.
Watch that thing and slow it down and watch it slow it down.
Way. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to be able to do those types of things, but it's also really nice because then it gives me like when I see people at conventions and they were asking questions, I'm like, okay, well, did you know that we do this video series? Like if you know, it's not even just me, like there's the unboxings, there's, you want to learn how to pose your figures? We have this video series. So we try to offer a lot of different types of content for people who want it and want to learn.
That's awesome.
It's very cool.
It's cool.
All right, question 8. I think it's Max.
All right, Susan.
Hey.
So personally, what collectibles would you love to see made by Sideshow that hasn't been done before?
Okay.
Good question.
Amen.
So I'm going to preface this question with anything I say right here is not an announcement. Remember, I turned it into a gift during one of the shows where I was like, not an announcement. Personally, I love the Mythos line, like so much. So I would love to see Mythos first off in various properties, like maybe not even just because we have Star Wars and yes, Ahsoka Mythos. Anyone? Can we just?
Oh my God! Please. All the Star Wars fans, which is me and Thor, are like, yes, please.
Would be amazing. Not an announcement. But I would love to see things like Marvel Mythos would be amazing as well.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Like a Weapon X.
We dabbled in it. I would say with the Gotham Nightmare line, where it's what if Scarecrow gas was dropped on top of Gotham and everybody looked really, really scary. I love that line as well, and I think we could expand on Mythos properties in general. Like we went into Alien Mythos, and we have the Rebel Terminator, who's like basically a Terminator Mythos piece, and one of my favorite PFs that I own, to be honest. But yeah, that Mythos to me is like that would be awesome to see an expansion of that.
Cool. Yeah, maybe like What If. Remember that comic book? What If? You could do Silver Surfer with the Gauntlet. You could do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And Marvel did that whole What If comic book line. What if there's a few that's What If Rogue got the hammer?
Oh wow!
What if Captain America was a werewolf? I mean, which happened. That actually happened.
It really did?
Yeah, it happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to question number 9. Is Jason's question.
Jason.
Hey, I'm up now, Susan. So,
Oh boy.
I thought the answer to your last question would have been Doctor Strange, to be honest. I thought you would have wanted the nice quarter scale of him.
I mean, I would love a nice quarter scale.
I remember you banging on Andy about it. Like, when am I getting one? When am I getting one?
I mean, I'll just turn around and poke him because he's my office mate. Anyway. I don't get to pick, Susan. Just stop it.
Yeah, that's what he said when you said that to him when I was there.
Yeah.
So what has been your favorite moment working at Sideshow? And you can't say when you gave me and Adrian a tour.
Oh man, I loved my first San Diego with Sideshow. That that was an experience because it's our biggest show of the year and it's insanely busy. And I didn't really know what to expect, but watching the whole team support each other and come together to like build our epic booth and then display all these different prototypes that are like the first looks in the whole world at what's coming up for the next few months. So my first San Diego really stands out as one of my favorite experiences. The dance that we all go through to prepare for it, as well as you know, make it happen is a wonderful team building for the whole company, and it's just so much fun to be able to also hang out with my coworkers in San Diego in kind of a different environment. In recent memory, it was really cool to have Lawrence Fishburne come in to the office.
That was cool.
That was really cool.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was a pretty good treat for all of us. Yeah.
How was his reaction to that hot toy? Because I mean, I saw the pictures and he looked like he was so shocked. But I mean, it had to be like amazing when he first held that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He just kept staring at it like he couldn't believe it was him, and
Wow.
It was pretty fantastic. Yeah,
Wow,
really,
cool.
really nice guy too.
Well, actually, yeah, they haven't really made many action figures or statues of him in any of his roles, so it would have been a big, I finally made it, you know?
Yeah. And he is like that Nolan Predator, and then now, I mean, again, not an announcement. I also don't work for Hot Toys, so I have no idea what they're coming out with, but a Morpheus would be rad to go with that Neo.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
It would be just so awesome to see yourself in, you know, some sort of form like that that's creative. I love that. And that segues into my question. And you got to kind of experience this. So explain, like, you know, how were you asked if you wanted to model for Elektra? And what was that process like? Because I think that's just so cool.
Well, first off, you heard my 5 ladies. Elektra's one of them.
Yes.
She was the pinky.
She was the
If it's Marvel, A-Team pays attention.
I pay attention to all the details.
No detail.
Yeah.
Missed.
Will Harbottle was the lead sculptor on that project, and he just kind of it was he just sent me an email like, would you want to do this? And I didn't answer the email. I ran to his office and was like, yeah, absolutely. So the process for it is it's a pose study is what it ultimately is. And the thing about the Elektra pose is that she's standing outward and she's holding her arms outward. So I had to hold weights because they're trying to see like anatomically what the muscle of the shoulder blade looks like, because you know she has one shoulder strapped down. And then they're trying to see what the muscles in your legs look like when you have to stand in that pose for a while. And so it's a pose study. So what they do is they have you stand in a couple of different poses and they take 360 pictures. And there's also 360 video. So that way they can kind of see from all angles. Because like I said, what they're looking for is anatomically what it would look like if a person actually was in this pose. They don't want to have anything look unnatural or weird, or what they would assume it would look like. They want to actually get people in these poses. Like one of our project managers is consistently Boba Fett. Like every time because he really has like a gunslinger thing that's going on with like the way he dresses and the way he walks and stuff. So he's gotten to do Boba Fett a couple of different times. And it's just kind of the best thing ever when you get asked to be one of your favorite characters. And yeah, so it was pretty cool to do that post study and to see her turn out the way she did. What
was your reaction when you first saw her for the very first time?
Well, Will is the digital sculptor, so I got to see a couple iterations of her in like a 3D rendering type situation. And it was even, I was just like, yeah, she looks awesome. I'm like, oh yeah, she's so cool. But then even I didn't see her fully painted or anything, because I somehow avoided seeing that, and a little bit on purpose, to be honest, until she was revealed at Comic-Con. And I just jaw dropped because it was the coolest thing ever to know that I had even the smallest part in being able to like hold that pose and stand there and like allow Will to do his magic and create this character that is me, sort of, but not really.
What about when you're many years from now, when you're old and grey, you can look back at that and go, that was me.
That's yes, that.
That looks good.
Try to plant the seed. Try to plant the seed in his ear and see if he'll do your portrait for you personally. That would be sweet, right? For you, for your own statue.
So, if you guys are on the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group, there's a couple of people in there who are on this campaign for that. And
well, I'm saying for you, for your statue.
For me, oh, yeah. Good. That would be cool. I would do it for me. I wouldn't do it for the masses, but I would.
That'd be weird. Yeah.
That'd be a bit creepy, knowing that people would have a copy replica of you in their house, and
well, it's perfectly innocent.
And I'm like, can we just put a stop to this thread right now? And then I like to make jokes about like my likeness rights are so expensive. Sideshow.
Oh God.
Pretty sure Sideshow owns my likeness by now.
That's awesome. Let's see. Question number 11 goes to Lawrence.
So you've talked a little bit about your collection, just some of the things that you've collected over the years. What are some of the things that you like to collect? If there are particular categories, whether it's PFs or comic-ettes or comic books or figures or whatever it is, pops. Tell us a little bit about what you like to collect.
All of the above. Well, I don't really collect comics anymore. I keep the things that and storylines that have meant something to me. But most of the time, what I do is I'll read the comics and I'll keep it through the end of a run, and then I actually take them to children's hospitals and drop them off as donations. Nice. That helped me when I was a kid. It can help someone else. Everyone wants to imagine that they're a superhero, right?
Yeah.
I love 6-scale figures because I love posing. But I love premium formats because I love the size of the premium format. That quarter scale is kind of what I think of as a perfect size where it's not too big. But then again, I'll look at legendary scale and those half scale pieces and go, man, this would be really cool to have. Especially that Huntress that Prime 1 did. That was fantastic, but it's a little big for my taste. I think that I collect characters specifically. So I feel like as long as I stay in the boundaries of the characters that there's a list on my phone of the characters, like, Susan, you only collect these characters.
Smart.
Yeah. And it's a nice reminder, okay, well, you don't need that. That character's not on your list. So as far as scale goes, if it's the character, then anything goes. So if it's Scarlet Witch, I'll get anything Scarlet Witch that is in my price range or that I want. That goes down to a Lego figure to a premium format or all of the above.
Yeah. Okay. Totally cool.
That's actually awesome that you actually have a reminder in your phone. Because
it's pretty funny.
PJ is just giving himself ideas about how to focus.
Yeah. These guys actually.
Thank you for that, Susan. Thank you.
And then it's even broken down into Marvel characters, DC characters, Star Wars characters, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Disney, and then nostalgia purposes, stuff like that.
Well, Susan was just an intervention for all of us, so thank you.
Right. Yeah, because I'm
it's kind of nice because it's stuff right now in my office we have the Miles Morales PF that's displayed, and Miles isn't technically on my list, but man, I want that piece.
We talk about all the time on the show about how important it is to have a focus. Like before I was Batman statue collector, I collected Marvel and Star Wars, and I had all the Sideshow PFs and all, but then I wanted everything. So then at what point do you say, hey, I have to focus? And I love that phone idea. That was a great idea.
Yeah. And it's something that I go to. And then I have like caveats where it's like, these are the Marvel characters. And then there's like 2 that are like, if something is exceptional in for these 2 characters, then maybe I'll own that piece. But normally I stick to my main list of characters.
That's awesome. I need that. I mean, I need a list for myself because.
Yes, you do.
You need
oh my gosh.
Control, PJ.
I know, man. It's hard. Yes, I know. I need to focus.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Number 12 is Jeff. Let's do it.
Jeff.
So with the impending coming of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four coming to the MCU, who would be your dream cast? Who would you cast in some of the main roles?
Man, this is really tough because one,
it's really hard.
It's really hard because we're looking at like a new Batman too, and young Batman. I know that there was a rumor about Armie Hammer. I'm actually pretty on board with that. He has the jaw, which is like a very important thing for Batman to have.
Yeah.
He has like the Bruce. I think he can do Bruce Wayne. I know he can.
I think he could do Bruce Wayne really good.
Yeah, but could he?
He could be a real cocky, arrogant Bruce Wayne and make you really not like him.
Totally. So I'm on board for that. It's real. It's funny because like I have this like weird dream casting in my head where like if they do a new X-Men thing, I would want like a newer team. Where since Logan killed Hugh Jackman, I don't really necessarily want a new Logan. Because I loved Hugh Jackman as Logan, and really you're gonna ever recast Patrick Stewart? Like that would be insanity in my head. But I really I loved Orphan Black a whole lot, and the idea of Tatiana Maslany playing grown-up Laura, because like she also is the same type of ethnicity that could grow from Daphne Keane into Tatiana Maslany. So I would like her to actually be Wolverine. I wasn't the biggest fan of X-Men Apocalypse, but I do really like, I'm going to call her Sansa Stark. Sophie Turner. I like her as Jean Grey, and I'm curious as to what she's going to do with the Phoenix Force. So she definitely looks like Jean Grey, that's for sure. But I don't know. Ask me more specific characters. Like who would I cast for
who would you think it could be a Magneto?
Who could be?
It's almost impossible, right? Really is.
It is.
And the thing is if they're being absorbed into the MCU, my motto for the MCU is fine. Like,
you guys are going to do the right thing. Yeah,
fine.
It's in your hands. We're good.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it, because I didn't necessarily think of like Chris Evans as Captain America, but that dude is Captain America.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You see him at the Grammys helping people up the stairs?
Yeah.
What a gem.
Yeah.
God bless him.
Yeah. And so whatever they want to do, I'm like cool with. And then I had no clue anything about Tom Holland, and where did that guy come from to be the best Peter Parker ever? So
incredible.
Thank you. Very few people agree with that statement, but I do. I think it's about time they cast someone who's job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I think they got him perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
I'm with you. I think they'll
I don't
smirk
know.
And the Guardians, the whole Guardians of the Galaxy cast was perfect.
I mean, who knew
Everybody.
that Batista, like WWE wrestler, was ever going to be able to act? And he's drafted
and be funny, be absolutely
so funny.
Yeah.
Like,
Guardians is amazing. Yeah,
I'm sure that I'm invisible.
I absolutely love the Guardians of the Galaxy at Disney California Adventure. Like that is just, I love that. It's so funny with Batista.
Oh my God,
He did such a great job on that ride. I love it.
So who would you cast in the Fantastic Four?
Guardians of the Galaxy, Michael Rooker. Man, that guy's amazing.
Oh yeah.
He was he unboxed Groot, and that was like one of the funniest unboxings ever.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
I think I might have told you this, but whenever he was at Kansas City at the Planet Comic-Con like a week after he was on your show, and he, for all of his photos, he had that little Groot in his pants, which was pretty funny. I said I really enjoyed doing Sideshow Live, and he's like, yeah, that was a blast. So it was really cool.
Well, it was funny. So my producers and team sometimes don't tell me things because you can't play poker with me. I have no poker face. Like if I'm like, oh, cool. Look at these cards. Like I have no, and it's I don't know if it's like a lack of filter or I never developed one, but sometimes they don't tell me things on purpose to get my very, very genuine reaction. And Michael Rooker, they didn't tell me he was coming in. So if you watch, like he crashes the show because I'm doing Sideshow Live and then he just walks in. So I didn't know that he was going to be on the show.
So you're like the Tom Holland of Sideshow. Like you just give out secrets.
Yeah, a little bit.
Or what's his name? Hulk.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
No,
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. They can't tell him anything.
Andy's the Benedict Cumberbatch who has to be in the room with me all the time to go,
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
I feel like I'd be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not the person you would want to be your secret keeper.
So there you go.
All right, Stirfry, you have question number 13. We've already kind of talked about this one. Do you want to ask maybe something along the same lines?
Yeah, the question was, what your favorite comic book character is, and I think you said Doctor Strange, right? So maybe you could cover.
Of the Sanctum window right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could comment on, like, since we're piggybacking on movie questions and things like that, like what you might want to see from maybe a sequel or maybe even a third movie. What storyline or maybe villains or elements of Doctor Strange would you like to see on the big screen?
I would like to see the evolution of Baron Mordo. I would like to see Clea show up at some point. Clea. Who would play Clea? Man, that's a good. Actually, you know who'd be a good Clea is Amanda Seyfried. Just saying. Anyway, I'll go back. Yeah, it would be really great to like dabble in some more of the Dark Dimension stuff. Have him actually take on that power of the Dark Dimension because at certain points in his storyline, he does try to balance out. I would like to see him become the Sorcerer Supreme. Like they kind of he calls himself that in Infinity War, but I want to see more of what actually makes him that way. I want a couple more cheesy lines, and I like that in Ragnarok, Taika gave him the yellow gloves because where are those yellow gloves?
Right. What about the Living Tribunal? That'd be pretty cool to see.
The Living Tribunal, I would just
be crazy.
Pass out if I saw the Living Tribunal on the screen. That was always one of my favorite like Elders of the Universe. So, or sorry, what are they called now? Celestials?
Yeah.
Celestial,
yeah. But oh my God, I would love to see Baron Mordo come back. But I just said Baron Mordo. I usually say Baron Mordor.
Yeah, I can't say it.
But yeah, it'd be really cool to watch him come back, and he's very much like in terms of magic. If you're going to compare him, he's like the Magneto to the Professor X. Like he doesn't believe certain people, like you're using these powers incorrectly. It's I don't know. I would like to see him evolve. And plus the actor was amazing.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah.
He's incredible.
Awesome. All right. Number 14 is Mac. You're up.
So what passions do you have outside of the geek culture collectibles world?
I love sports.
Oh.
I love sports so much. Specifically, I love football. American football. I know we have an Aussie here.
Real football, violent football.
I will watch soccer though, or football. But I love NFL football specifically.
Who's your team?
Football. I love hockey. I love sports. I love competition, and the knowledge that you can apply to knowing the backstory of every single DC character. You can apply the same knowledge to knowing stats on a player. So I don't think I feel like they're two sides of the same coin. Just you flipped it, and then some people wound up on the jock side and the nerd side. But to me, it's all the same thing. So that's I'm very passionate about sports. In fact, there's a lot of Kings fans. I like Kings fans here at Sideshow, and we went to a hockey game together, and we, like a lot of us, lost our voices because we just were screaming really, really. So I guess that's still kind of pop culture because sports, like everybody watches the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're very similar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar things, but that's my big one. That
you're a Ravens fan?
Oh yeah, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, which makes no sense because I grew up in San Francisco.
Listen, I just wanted to let you know, in Australia, there's 3 different codes of football.
Yeah.
One of them.
By the way, I also love rugby. I love watching rugby. It's so
there's a few codes of rugby. There's rugby league and union, but the biggest sport that we have here is an Australian game called Australian Rules Football, AFL.
All right, I'm gonna have to learn about that now.
Yeah.
I really like sports.
If you're right into sports, that'll blow your mind.
Okay, because when I went to Scotland on a trip, and the 5 Nations tournament was happening there. It's like a rugby tournament.
Yeah, rugby sevens.
I was obsessed with like just going and watching all these games and just watching the culture around it.
Well, if you like the brutality of rugby, you're gonna love AFL.
Awesome, cool. I look forward to it.
It's like you know the big hits that they lay in rugby. Well, that happens. Yeah. It's a 360-degree field, so they can hit you.
Yes. Oh my God! Okay, do it.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's my other thing. Sports.
Do you get to go to any Ravens games?
Well, when they play the Chargers usually, but I guess even now it's even better if they play the Chargers, the Rams, because then they're here.
Yeah, stadium. Yeah,
we're in SoCal.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, cool.
All right, let's see. 15, PJ.
Yay! Sorry. Susan, I know you do a lot of convention appearances. You go to San Diego Comic-Con. I met you at New York Comic-Con. But out of all the convention appearances, which is your favorite fan interaction story?
Anytime I do okay, so there's 2 types of giveaways we do at the shows. One giveaway is stuff like a scavenger hunt across social media, or like a trivia question that you have to come to the booth to answer, or something like that. But my favorite fan interactions are anytime we just give something to someone who didn't ask for it. Because sometimes we'll just see people around the booth and they're like maybe new to collecting and they're really into like Groot, and we'll just give them a Groot.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I love one of my favorite ones is a little girl that I met at New York Comic-Con. Our first year we did New York Comic-Con, and the little girl really liked R2-D2. So obviously she was dear to my heart immediately. And I gave her an R2-D2. Well, I gave her parents an R2-D2 that was hers because she was like a little young to actually have one at the time. The next year, she came back to the booth dressed as Yoda. And the next year, she came back to the booth dressed as Leia. So she always asks her parents to come by the booth and say hi. So that's kind of my favorite. There's these 2 boys also at New York Comic-Con who draw me pictures every year at New York Comic-Con. And they've drawn me everybody from like R2-D2 to Doctor Strange and Stormtroopers. They know that I like Star Wars a lot, and they're fantastic. And these 2 boys are amazing. And their parents, I know their father's name is Eric, and he is fantastic. He's probably watching because he watches a lot of these shows, and he's a big collector. So shout out to those boys in New York. Yeah, I think the kids are my favorite to be around because you get to see, like, as much as I get to, like, I get, no offense, guys, I get to see the adults geek out over this stuff a lot. So seeing a kid for the first time, like, see an Iron Man and like, oh, the arc reactor lights up. You guys think it's cool too, but there's something about like a kid seeing it that's really spectacular. So, yeah, my favorite fan interactions are kids. And then, when people can't do the scavenger hunts for those like the Thanos pin in New York.
Oh my gosh.
That people were just like crazy about the idea that, like, we ran out, but they could only be at Comic-Con one day, and just giving someone my pin because it means more to them. Those are the best moments for me.
Yeah. I gotta say this, Susan, giving away free toys to little kids is sort of like giving away free drugs to drug addicts. You just got them hooked, man. They're going to come back and buy a lot more down the track.
Jeez, Australian. Jeez. What a comparison, but
wow.
But Susan, that's actually really awesome. The fact that like these kids remember you and they look for you in these conventions. That's a very like heartwarming, to hear.
I got an email from someone who his daughter dressed up as Wasp, and she was very concerned that no one was going to understand that she was dressed up as Wasp. And she came by the booth, and I was like, "Oh my God, you have such an awesome Wasp costume!" And her dad sent me an email that was like, "Thank you so much." Thought no one was going to know she was Wasp, and I was like, "She was an excellent. What are you kidding? She was like looked exactly like Wasp. Are you kidding me?"
Wow.
That's awesome.
Can you have a bigger booth in New York Comic Con, please?
Yeah. man.
Oh my gosh.
No kidding.
I was so excited to see so many pieces, and I mean, the stuff you brought was amazing, but man, I missed out on seeing a bunch of the stuff that was at San Diego.
Everybody's like this.
Yeah, it's wall to wall.
I mean, I'm lucky we got to see Venom and Green Lantern. So
She-Hulk, Spider-Man.
Yeah, those were really awesome. But I would have loved to see Mystique in person.
Yeah.
And
we did see Psylocke X-23. So
those are my like bummer ones where like I hate saying to people like,
sorry.
Not here.
And then Rogue. I want to see Rogue so bad in person.
Yeah. I was gonna say is that like, actually, a lot of us in the community here, like with the statue collectors, we actually last year was in New York Comic Con was the first year. I had so much fun just meeting everyone for the first time, and we actually used like Sideshow to like kind of meet up and like kind of like hang out and talk, and so hopefully one day you guys have a bigger booth because it's like we enjoy talking to you and hanging out in your booth, and hopefully don't kick us out at some point for just hanging out there the whole day. Because that's what we end up doing anyway. We're like, man, I guess we had to move. There's people like pushing us, so let's go.
I'm in Kansas, so I'm real far from either coast, but I am going to try to make it to New York this year.
Yes.
And so I'm really excited about that. So see what it's all about. And it's funny because my wife and I got tickets a week before we're going to go see the Harry Potter play in New York.
Cursed Child.
Yeah. And so, but it was just the week before that next weekend. So I think we're somewhere real close. So I think we're going to fly there and then fly back again for New York Comic Con. So anxious to see everybody there and meet everybody. So that'll be awesome. Let's see. Thor, you're up number 16.
Okay, well, Susan, we've learned a lot about you this evening that people might not really know, but could you tell us something else, like something special that people might not know about you? We've heard about the football and the Ravens, which Rodney still can't believe till this day.
I know.
He can't believe she's a Ravens fan. You believe
that was so great. I really liked like blowing his mind about that.
He really hates the Ravens. I just want to.
I know.
But they get a pass because of you, Susan. Yeah.
I mean, let's see what they do without Flacco. So
no. But
I do want to take just a second. Rodney was supposed to join us tonight. He had a major family emergency tonight. So everybody's okay, but he wanted to be here tonight. So just wanted to let you guys know.
Oh, thanks, Rodney. I'm sorry.
Mr. Rodney.
Yep.
Glad everyone's okay.
Yeah. But could you tell us something else like special about you that people might not really know?
My go-to answer for this question is that I'm actually really shy. I know that it doesn't seem like that from like everything that I do for work, but I'm actually like if you come by the booth, I'm normally like sitting by myself because I'm just very shy, and I'm usually doing something like pretty geeky, like checking out whatever like it. I'm stuck at the booth a lot, so I don't get to see the releases from other places. So I'm usually like looking at what other places I collect from, or what comics came out that day, or something like that. I can be very shy in person, and so I feel like sometimes when fans meet me in person, they think that I'm like being rude, and I'm just being a little shy. So it'll take me a second to just be like, oh, hi. And that's I think the thing that most people don't really know about me is because so much of me is like talking about these things that I love, and I can be very outgoing and passionate about everything that I care about. But when it comes to like me in person, I'm a little bit shyer.
Well, I can dig that.
Yeah. Like you were at the gathering at New York Comic Con.
Right, yeah.
How much did it take to like pull me off of that table that I was like at into like actually socialize with everybody? I was like, oh hey guys, yeah, hi, all right, hi.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand. I mean, you know, it's good to meet the people, but it's like you meeting somebody for the first time, and you know, so,
yeah, and
you know,
and it's really awesome that this panel of rogues right here is like so many familiar faces, because it made me feel instantly comfortable, which is great. So yeah, thank you guys.
We just did it to put your mind at ease, Susan.
What?
We just all gathered together to put your mind at ease.
Oh, thank you.
Only some of us are scary. So
yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'm sorry.
Jason, you're not.
Susan, I'm not scary.
I think, like, Jason is the one I probably spent the most time with out of everybody here.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. We just bust on him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like down under. We don't understand that. Like shrimps on Barbies and stuff like that. Like, you know.
Yeah, actually, Susan requested that when I got back to Australia that I went to an Outback Steakhouse and sent her a picture of a blooming onion.
All right. I totally did.
Good.
And he did it. I have him.
Yeah, I said it to her.
Let's see. I've got the next question. Question 17. Where would you like to see yourself personally in 10 years, and where would you like to see Sideshow Collectibles in 10 years? Okay,
personally, I'd like to see myself still at Sideshow. I love it here, and really there's no other place that I'd ever want to be. It's home in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways I probably in most ways I feel more comfortable here than I do anywhere else on the planet, including like my own home sometimes. And for Sideshow, you know, this year's our 25th year.
Wow.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, we're the same company that we've always been. We constantly are following passions. We're constantly enjoying opportunities to play. We're revisiting characters in new ways, and we're introducing new characters into the fold. And the one thing I think that that's the stuff that's always there. We love what we do. We're good at what we do, and we care about what we do. And those things are all super important, especially in a community like the one that we find ourselves in. So I think the thing that moving forward that we're trying to build is more stuff like this. It's more interactions with the community, with the collectors, with friends. There's been we have new people who join the community all the time. You've probably noticed there's an increase in engagement through our social media throughout the past few years. We've done more online shows. We've added a podcast network. I'm doing a conversation in a chat channel right now. Lovely people. We just really want to expand into talking to the people who matter to us. So how we'd like to move forward is to just constantly expand and be more approachable and be more engaging. And, you know, with customer service, we extended our hours so we could, you know, help more people. And then when we talk about like the creative side, we are always collaborating with new artists. We expanded into like art prints a few years ago, and now we've expanded that program. We're expanding into the unruly, like the designer toy vinyl industry. We have like Court of the Dead that's grown so significantly.
Crazy.
We're now working with so many more distribution partners, brand partners. We're living in just this time where everything that we love is coming together in this like spectacular, beautiful way. And it's just exploding. And we feel very fortunate to be a part of that. And we can't wait to see the next step. We don't want this to stop. And I think that where I see us in the future is more expansion, more partnerships, more engagement. And that's where I want to be. And I want to be right here in the chats talking to all of you. That's exactly where I want to be. That's where I want Sideshow to be. So that's that question.
Cool. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's.
And it's exciting to see the excitement that you have, and that's why, in my opinion, you're one of the most beloved people in the community because we relate to you, and we know that you're a collector as well, and we can see your enthusiasm and your excitement. So I want to thank you for bringing that to us, because that means a lot to us. I mean, just how many people have emailed me and messaged me that you were going to be on the show, and just how much they love you. Yours is so refreshing. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've got to say, Chris, like Susan is a great representation of the staff there. Everyone that I met there that she introduced me to were exactly like her. They were fans of what they're working on, and they loved what they do.
Yeah, that's true. If you ever have an issue, I've had several issues in the past, but I've been collecting for a long time, whether it's through email or on a phone, or if it's even just waiting on hold with Star Wars music playing in your ear, it's always a pleasure, even when things go wrong.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good experience. And meeting you tonight is just a little thing on the top, and it's great. Good stuff.
Thank you so much. I thank you guys. That's all incredible. Thank you so much. But what Jason is saying and what oh my gosh, now I'm blanking on your name. But I was like, you're something you're Centauri, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
I don't even know your real name, but
oh man,
what you're saying is I just happen to be the person that they put in front of the camera. Everyone is exactly like this. So no matter who you talk to, you're going to be talking to someone with enthusiasm, with passion, with love for everything that we do. Yeah. It's weird because it's lightning in a bottle in a lot of ways. I don't know many other places. I've certainly never worked at any other places where I can honestly say that everyone shares the same passion and the same vision for what Sideshow is.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. The fact that you're surrounded with so many like passionate coworkers and colleagues. I wish I had that at my job. I only actually got one person that I actually convinced who is now collecting statues. So yeah, he probably hates me now because he's like, I can't believe it. And he just keeps buying statues. But to have him alongside with me, and he's the only person in the whole place that loves statues and collecting. I just can't imagine being surrounded by a whole building filled, and it's just that enthusiasm, and like each day, it's like, I can't imagine. That's so awesome. Yeah.
I tease him a lot on the live show, but I want to like do a specific shout out to Sam, who started out as our intern. Like he was seriously the live show's intern, and that guy has like so much passion in himself. Like he's in the control room of the live show, so I just see like
yeah,
go up above like the little window because there's something that happened on the news or something that he just got super excited about, or he's seeing the first look at a character that he absolutely loves, and everybody's like that. It's like insert anybody's name, and everyone has the thing that they love.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, we have. Do we still have time for a couple more questions?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go to some just company related questions.
Okay.
And Tim, you're up first.
So I'm super curious about the art side of the company for sure.
Yeah.
I I'm a student of it, where I try to learn what sculptors do what and who sculpts bodies in a certain way and the anatomy of things. And so a lot of the things that you've been talking about have kind of resonated with me. So I'm super curious if there's a room where all the sculptors are working together. Do people have their own private room? How often do they like tap somebody on the shoulder and go, hey man, the chin, and like that kind of stuff? For me, I'm tingling to think about that. Like that really gets me like super interested. So I'm wondering.
Is yes.
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 Dude, that's so freaking cool.
So
man.
everybody works individually, and obviously I can't speak for any of the artists. I am not a sculptor, and trust me, you really don't want me sculpting these statues. But there is a sculpt room.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there is a sculpt room. The sculptors also designed it themselves.
I'm sorry.
You need a moment.
Need a second, man.
Tim is crying. He's straight
Oh
up
my
crying.
gosh, she's literally crying.
No, I'm not crying, bro. I'm just super excited, man. That shit gets me like, this is super important to me, guys. I mean,
Yeah, no, it is. It is. We know that Tim. Tim is like
we're having like a real conversation. This is super important to me. I'm like so thrilled to hear that. That makes me super happy.
Susan, to put it into context, you need to understand this about A-Team. A-Team is the kind of guy that when a statue comes up and we're all like, that's amazing. He goes, man, that bicep is in the wrong place. Show me a bicep that looks like that. So he has a really fine eye for detail and we love him for it. That's why he's so excited.
I got to disappear.
That happens here too.
What was that, Susan?
The pose study that we talked about, like with Electra earlier.
Yeah.
I had to stand like this for a very long time with a weight. So
Yeah,
all those arm muscles better be in the right place.
Yeah, and I almost feel crazy sometimes because of the way that I do look at stuff. Because it's often that the community. Of course, we all have different tastes and sensibilities and stuff, but people see things and I see like something completely different. I'm like, am I freaking crazy? Like, what's going on? So being in like that kind of room, they would throw me out of there. They would be like, get out of here, bro. I just have so many questions.
They're all working, so they might.
We don't have the answer, bro.
Yeah, but all our sculptors are amazing people. I love going in that room. It's one of my favorite rooms to bother them.
I've got to say, when you took me in there, Susan, you said, we've got to be quiet because these people are working there. And you showed me the ivy. And I'm like, oh, my God. And they all stopped working and talking to me about the statues.
Jason, it's actually even a different room than you saw now. They redid their room, and it's different. So,
cool. Yeah. They need more room.
They did. That was the point. They went into a different room where they could expand. Yeah. Because when Jason was here, they were kind of on top of each other. And so now they have the space to really create.
Awesome.
And they designed it themselves.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's really cool.
The doors are Wayland Yutani, so that's the hint you guys get as to being.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
Little alien.
That's awesome.
So is there like a painting scenario the same way? Like Casey and Kat are in the same room?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Is Tim's room just a big room of capes?
There are several capes in that room.
I bet.
He does have a full Christopher Reeve Superman cape that is their like permanent display. But yes, so also has a spot where he and Ezra together. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. I love Tim. He's awesome.
Oh my God, Tim is amazing. Yeah.
All right. Looks like maybe question number 2 for Jason.
Okay. Susan, can you please take us on a behind the scenes of what's involved in the building up to San Diego Comic-Con? You've told us how excited you get for it. When do the preparations start and what's sort of involved?
They start the day after San Diego ends. We start planning next year. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
San Diego is a highly intricate choreographed dance between various managers, various departments. It's an entire companies worth of collaboration that comes together in a really, really beautiful way. And while I can't really give like intricate details, because honestly, I don't get brought in till towards the end of the process, because they do have layers. Like some people we have an events manager who's spectacular. And so he obviously is like the lead on anything involving events. And then it kind of just gets layered in from there. Like the first team, it's like they get activated, and then, you know, the next team builds on top of that. And then they decide, you know, which statues are going. They decide which like what the displays are going to look like. And it's really just like a layered cake that dances. That's the thing that I just invented in my head. But
very Beauty and the Beast of you.
I know. I was going to say, no, it's my princess. So there you go.
That sounds like Christmas at the North Pole.
It is a little bit like Christmas at the North Pole. That is actually a very apt way. And then, you know, each of the
rest up reindeers and elves, because we're on tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's really fantastic. And I have just been brought in. So you can see that like our team gets brought in usually around the beginning of the year, and it's just fantastic. It's just a really fun thing to be able to think about moving forward. I'm not going to give any hints, because also they don't tell me what's going to Comic-Con, so I don't.
Well, whoever does like the setups for the shows, specifically when the X-Men line was shown, that really messed me up. And I don't know if you can tell how bad it messed me up. I haven't been able to get that image of like them all lined up together since I saw it. And that kind of pushed me to start buying premium formats, because I was Bowen only before that. So they worked their magic on me.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah, success.
Yeah, so if you think about it, it's a lot of, it's not only designing like, or it's not only just figuring out what's going, it's designing a space in which to display these pieces in the best possible way.
Yeah, it's got to be thoughtful and
yeah, it's like it's interior designing a little bit as well, you know, like, and then it's also story building. Like if we're trying to tell a story with a collection, like how do we show off that story in the best possible way?
Like A-Team, imagine if they had given you a Wolverine there. That's it. You were gone.
Wait, what do you mean?
If as Susan was saying, that they gave out ones to certain fans and stuff. If you walked up and you guys you hadn't had any, and she goes, "Here's a Wolverine to start you off," boom, gone.
I would have. I mean, I already had it on order. So thanks anyway, though.
I hope that one day, like, you know, as New York Comic Con is growing each year, I think last year I've seen it like the largest amount of people in one convention. Hopefully that you guys get to have like that same kind of like booth presence in New York Comic Con.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Because really, you know, it's so hard for us to go out there to San Diego. Well, it's so hard just to get tickets, but you know, hopefully one day, because we love you guys in here, obviously, you know, in New York Comic Con.
And we do save stuff specifically to reveal at New York Comic Con, because we know that we have people who can't make it out to San Diego, and then New York Comic Con's their show. So we need to also make it special for everybody who goes to that show.
Yes. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. That's awesome. Jeff, you have the last one here.
So Susan, last year Sideshow put up some artist-proof items for charity. Will they be holding that event again this year?
We do charity events a lot. There's actually one going on right now. It's a Lux auction that we're raising money for. It's on our social media right now. We're auctioning off a few like very, very sold out archive pieces, but in terms of you're talking about, those are production. What are you
sorry, there's one character please don't talk about, because a certain member on this panel is involved in that process, and he wants little people to know about it.
Oops. Oh wow. We try to do that a couple times a year with charity to because we have causes that we're really involved in. There's a local charity called the Mike Nosko Foundation that we do every year. That charity is usually in the fall at some point, to raise money for a very specific foundation that's local to Thousand Oaks and is important to us But we also do we do Make-A-Wish. And yeah, it's important to us. And actually, something that's really cool that, again, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about, but Sideshow encourages employees to also spend days like giving to their favorite charity. So it's stuff like, if we have people who volunteer for soup kitchens and people who volunteer at like elderly homes and things like that. So we're very charity based in general as a company, and management's very encouraging of that. And I think it's wonderful. It's a relief to know that a company like this is still so involved in our own community, but also in giving back as a whole.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Just goes to show you again the kind of company that you are involved with. It's just so, yeah.
They're a great bunch of people. Like you can't meet any of them and think, oh, that person seemed a bit sus or anything. They're all like lovely, lovely people.
And I tell one of my bosses, I'm like, if you want me to leave, you're going to have to like not only fire me but drag me out of the building. Like, so yeah, most of us here, we don't want to be anywhere else. So we do everything we can to make everything the best it can be for all.
There would be an easy way, Susan, if they made that Doctor Strange PF and they just put it outside and go, look, there it is, Susan.
I'd be like, wait a second. It'd be if Return of the Jedi would just walk and like I'd like run out and then a net would like catch me. That's what I would think would happen. I'd be like, what? You guys, this seems not real.
How funny.
Well, that was our 20 questions with Susan, and maybe we'll have time for a couple more questions. Before we
I
wrap
can
up.
take a couple audience questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you have anything written down, or Lawrence?
I do. And I do apologize. I'm an amateur, so I didn't catch who the questions came from.
It's okay. Sometimes I don't.
But I thought one of the questions that was actually pretty good was, have you ever broken a piece when doing an unboxing for the show, or just setting up at a Comic-Con, or going through whatever process you go through, and have you ever broken something or broken a personal piece?
Yes. I have not broken one at a show. There is a certain production manager. Now, production manager is someone who works in production, and they take, we have people who are here to take a piece from concept to creation as it is. And so they work with the art director for the concept. And then once the concept is approved, they work with sculpt, they work with paint, they work with the whole, every step of the way. That way there's consistency throughout it. Now, there is a certain project manager that for some reason my subconscious has a vendetta against him, because I've only ever broken projects by this particular project manager.
Oh my God.
And so when I go into his office, the first thing he always says to me is mittens, and I have to put my hands in my pocket, and I can only talk to him like this, because I actually have broken one of his projects on the live show.
Nice.
It was the Harley Quinn premium format figure, and I tried to really play it off like nothing happened and just like moved the piece behind it.
Yeah, you did a great job of covering on that show.
Let me guess, Susan. People noticed.
So the first time I broke something on the live show, no one noticed. And it was amazing. And so now, and I won't tell anybody what it is. Now you have to go back and watch every single Sideshow live.
There's gonna be one person that like
something.
Somebody will, yeah.
Yeah, somebody will. But no, his particular projects and it's funny because like now, knock on wood, right? I haven't broken anything by anybody else. Like no other projects have been broken by me, except if that project manager is assigned to a project, I will break it. So yeah, that. And then a personal piece, man, I can't actually think of one, to be honest. Like I'm sure that I have. I'm sure that I have, and that I'm sure that I've Zap-a-gapped something back together.
Zap-a-gap, yo.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
I think we've all had that moment where like just something like we're unboxing something and it just kind of like drops out on the table. We're like, oh crap! But then it's fine, you know. I bet we've all had that, you know, that kind of moment.
What are you
No,
doing?
mine's all sleepwalking.
I had to do a live repair on.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions from the chat?
Do you get recognized at the grocery store?
Yeah.
This is one of the questions.
Wow, that's awesome.
Crazy.
Cool.
It's funny, where I get recognized the most is actually Disneyland.
Oh wow!
Really? Wow.
Yeah, by cast members.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Scary.
You get to cut line.
No, I wish. It's usually at food places. But yeah, I tell my friends like I'm not recognizable except in this like very, you know, like in our community. But if there's someone who recognizes me who is in our community, we're also the most passionate community.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I thought this was a good one. Would you, or is there a particular character that you would model for again, or that you would like to model for again, like you did for Elektra?
Man. Oh man, that's a good question. Wow. I think man, I would love to do any of my like any of the characters that I really care about. Like being Catwoman would be amazing. Oh my god, that would be
wow.
Being like Ahsoka would be amazing. Like it would be so cool. I do Star Wars piece. That'd be really awesome. I kind of look like Dr. Aphra. That's a little bit of a deep cut for us in terms of premium format, but
It's a beam.
I love Dr. Aphra, and I kind of look like her without my glasses on. So if I put on the hat, I think I could do it. But it'd be cool to do a spider character just because it'd be fun to hold the pose for a while.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to be honest, they could ask me to do any character, and I would say yes. Like it going through the process of a pose study is so much fun, and watching the sculptors work, like a Tim would die. Like
I would
Or cry. Or cry.
yeah, it would be really cool to be, if they wanted me to be like Greedo, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Greedo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ahsoka. We need Ahsoka, please.
I would love to be Ahsoka. That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome.
How long do you have to hold the pose when they have you do that?
It breaks, but it would be as long as it takes for the 360 to happen, because you can't rest while they're doing the 360, because if you move, then you mess up the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'd be having a Lucy Ricardo. I
have a background in ballet and modern dance, so that was another reason why Elektra, they asked, you know, she's a fighter, but also
acrobatics. Yeah.
Acrobatic, so that was another reason I got asked. Three people were talking. I didn't hear.
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
No, you go. Your show.
Oh, I was just going to say that after it's done with the 360, does it automatically render you in ZBrush, the shape of you, or?
No. It's reference. Because the world sculpts from scratch, so it's not like he just altered me. It was that he used the 360 to as reference, but it's still 100% like a sculpt. It's not just
from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's probably building like the skeletal structure, and then like when your arm's out, he's looking at how the cup in the top of your shoulder looks. So
that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I have the art in my head. I just don't have the ability to do it with my hands.
And then he's and match the front of the shoulder with the back of the shoulder, and to see how it rotates and how the muscle, like that's what he's doing. He's not.
Yeah, and it shows in all the sculptures that you guys produce. I mean, like the new Spider-Man premium format, like that is that is a lesson in anatomy. And the fact that people look at it and go, well, the base and this, and it's like, guys, you're not paying attention. This is like a lesson in like high level anatomy. What are you guys all seeing that I'm seeing something completely different than a lot of people?
By the way, he was saying that to me when I was, because he's like, Tim was like, do you like it? I was like, it's okay. He's like, how could you not like it? And then he showed me
it's nuts, man.
everything, and that's when my there was like a light bulb that came on. I was like, oh wow, like that.
It looks like a human being is inside of a Spider-Man suit instead of just like. And I love
why they do these post studies, because they want the human being to be there, because you know, that's the character. There's a human being.
And I love like a smooth comic body, of course, like a rounded, easy shaped, not highly detailed. Like the old premium format line is so dear to me. I'll never get rid of it.
Right.
But I also see the benefit in like having like a high level, like full anatomy sculpt. It's exceptional work, and you know, I admire it for sure. So somebody actually said that. Can I ask it? Can you do a tour? Maybe.
Oh, I can't leave this room.
No, not right this second.
Oh.
Maybe like a little clip or snippet of like you just showing us like, hey, this is the sculptor room and this is the painter room. That would be like a behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, that'd
put
be
on the channel or the page.
I can't. It's like because of you know, we have agreements with all of our licensors.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just keep envisioning what it looks like in your head, ATM.
It probably looks exactly like it looks in your head.
I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna have the best dreams tonight.
And they of the Ivy, and they had the brown paper bag exclusive on her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another question from the group: is there a particular art print that you've seen that you guys have produced through various artists that you personally gravitate towards and that you love?
Well, there was the Doctor Strange Omnibus by Alex Ross that I love. There was the Doctor Strange that is from the movie that I love. But the one that I've purchased a few of them, and there was a Huntress by Art Germ. So I have her. And then I also have the In a Galaxy Far, Far Away by Adam Hughes. And that's at the top of my Star Wars collection, actually. Because it's when in the glow of the lightsaber, you can see all the women of Star Wars, which is amazing. I love the Mark Brooks Spider-Verse print. I love this Alex Garner that's like right here.
Yeah, I keep looking at that. I'm like,
because we actually had some people in the chat asking what that art print was.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah. Alex Garner Avengers art print. It's sold out. I'm sorry.
I was gonna ask the same thing. I love that thing.
Really cool.
Well, selfishly, I hope not an announcement. No, but I hope that Dave Wilkins does a Masters of the Universe. I know he did the She-Ra one for you guys,
amazing.
And nobody draws He-Man and Skeletor better than Dave Wilkins.
Right? Oh no, absolutely not. I probably have time for one more question because actually my computer's about to die.
All right. You guys have one more quick one?
Got a million questions.
All right, no more questions. Bye.
Thanks for playing.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned Greedo because actually it was a woman wearing the Greedo suit in the movie.
I know that's why.
I was like, that's crazy. Yeah.
Actually, I've got a question. Susan, Barbara Lopez has asked. You may not be able to answer this, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But people have been bombarded with when will we see Juggernaut?
Oh, soon.
No.
So you can see like the basic what he looks like, but you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh boy.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
Awesome.
There goes my money.
Sorry, Barbara. I probably just made it worse for you.
No, I mean, I think that like somebody like Barbara, like Barbie's definitely gonna order that Juggernaut. So I think it's more of just like the anticipation of,
Yeah.
She's got an amazing
of seeing it.
Guaranteed.
Oh, she's got
Yeah.
an amazing
Yeah.
collection for sure.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, I just
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to thank everybody in the gallery tonight. I
Oh
want
my
to thank
God,
everybody in the
so fun.
chat. I want to thank Susan. This has been really a dream come true for me. So thank you very much.
Oh, this was so fun.
Awesome.
Thank
You
you
are
so much for having me.
absolutely, you're welcome back. If you ever just want to come on and talk about statues, that would be awesome. That we would have to grill you on Q&A stuff. But again, it's just been a dream for me. So thank you very much.
Oh, of course. Thank you
thank
guys
you.
so much. This is so much fun. I adored every moment of this. This is
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Very cool.
Just to let you guys know, Rogues Gallery will be back on 2 weeks from tonight. We also have a very special guest, and I'm really excited to announce this. But about 3 weeks ago, it was Bill Finger. Bill Finger,
Holy moly.
the co-creator of Batman. His granddaughter, Athena Finger, she joined my group. And I've been talking a little bit back and forth with her, and she is going to come on Rogues Gallery Live in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Amazing.
She watched the Bill Finger documentary. She was very instrumental in making that happen with Warner Brothers and DC. So I'm just really excited that she's going to be on. So again, 2 weeks from tonight, please join us because I'm really excited about that.
That's some history, man.
Yeah.
Bill Finger is the man for sure.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So anyway, please join us again. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and Susan, thank you again so very much.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you, Susan.
Good seeing you again.
Now I think
Thank
it
you,
only be
Susan.
fitting if you gave us the tagline at the end here
Oh, really?
for what you guys say at the end of all your shows.
Don't forget to let your geek side show.
There you go.
There it is.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
Bye, good night.
See you guys.